It's that time of the month again where I tell you everything that I read in October. Now, I am filming this really early, like a week before October ends, because I'm going away. I won't be home, so I won't be able to film it. But whatever I read while I'm away, or while it's still October, I will leave in the description with the rest of the books that I'm going to talk about now, so that you know what other books I've read as well. But I wanted to film this because it goes up while I'm still away. So let's just get into it. First off, we have Things I Wanted to Say But Never Did by Monica Murphy. This has been in a video, so I will try not to talk too much about it, but I did decide to rate this 2 stars. This was a rather disappointing read. So I read Many Kisses in a Lifetime and rated that 4.75 stars. And I thought I was going to love this because it's in the same series. You're actually supposed to read this one first, but it doesn't really matter what order you read them in. But this, I did not like. It took me a while to get through, longer than what I thought, not because of the size either. The men in this book was so unbearable. The way they spoke about women was absolutely disgusting. I could not stand it. It just made me sick. I don't know. Our main male character in this, I don't even remember his name. Wit? I hated him. I mean, even our female main character, Summer, I didn't like her either that much. Definitely not as bad as Wit though. But yeah, I just could not stand the men in this, and the men ruined it for me. And I'm just going to stop talking about it, but I just didn't like it. Then I read Book of Night by Holly Black. I also rated this 2 stars. But if I'm being completely honest, I don't remember much about it, which isn't a good start. But what I do know is it was the writing style that I liked in this. But I just don't think the storyline was so that I liked. Also, I did read this while I was in the mood because it was for a video, so that might have also been the issue, which isn't a fair one, but I couldn't tell you what this is about because, like I said, I don't remember much. Then we have Sense and Sensibility. I honestly thought I was going to like this. Turns out I don't. It was a 1-star read for me. Again, this was also one I don't remember much about. We're going to have most of these in October. I don't know what happened. Most of the reads I wasn't enjoying, most of the reads I just don't remember much about. Then I read Promises We Meant to Keep by Monica Murphy. This I rated 2 stars as well. Again, it's the men in these books. I don't know what was going on. It's just the way they spoke about women. I could not get past that at all. I don't know what it was. Also, more with the storyline of this, because I did not like our female main character. What was her name again? Sylvie. That was it. I did not like her. I could not stand her much. I don't know what it was, honestly. But if I remember correctly, they had a thing going on, and then she betrays him, and then years later they meet back up at a wedding and they rekindle everything. But yeah, it just personally was not for me. Then I read Funny Feelings and I rated this 3 stars. It was definitely a fun, fast-paced, cozy fall read, and I don't know, I just feel like I didn't feel a connection between the characters with this one at all. I don't know, I just felt like there was more friends, if that makes sense, and co-workers and stuff, but I just did not feel the romance. And I wish we got more of the kid, because it's marked as a single dad trope, but you don't see much of that. You see it, but not much of it. Then I read One by One by Freedom McFadden. Now, shockingly, I rated this one 2 stars. Now, I don't know what it was. This just personally wasn't for me. I don't know what I didn't connect with, but it, like I said, it just personally wasn't for me. Now, I don't know if I just read this at the wrong time. Honestly, I don't know, but it wasn't for me. Then I read Under Her Care by Lucinda Berry. Now, I loved The Perfect Child. Well, I can't really say loved, but I found it really interesting. I found it really gripping. You just wanted to know what happened. It was crazy and mind-boggling, messed up. But this one I did not like. I did rate it 1 star. I was very close to DNFing it, but because I was reading it for a video, I decided against it because I wanted my to say my review in that video for it. But I did push through it, and yeah, it wasn't for me. Okay, then I read The Wolves in the Walls and Pirate Stew by Neil I don't know how to say last name, but both of them are rated 1 star. These was just to get like more books off of my TBR. Now they are children's stories, but there was like short, fast, and I wanted to get some books off my goal, you know, so why not? And I was, spoiler, but I was reading more of his books afterwards, and I wanted like to understand his writing a bit, like see like what his writing is like before I commit to it. To these 2 books, but it wasn't the writing I didn't like, I don't think. It was the stories that I just did not connect with these. Obviously they're children's stories, so I mean, is it fair for me to rate it 1 star? Probably not. Is it fair for me to rate it? Probably not. Okay, then I read The Graveyard Book by Neil, and I rated this 1 star. This personally wasn't for me. I don't know what it was, but I just could not connect with it. And again, I don't know if it was just the wrong time for me to read this. I honestly couldn't tell you. And then I did read Coraline after that, and I rated this 2 stars. This one I found more interesting, more gripping. Now, I was disappointed that I didn't like it as much as everyone else, but I did like this one a little bit more than obviously The Graveyard. But I might read these again in the future when maybe I am not struggling with my reading so much as I am now. After that, I read My Fault, and this I rated 3 stars. So I watched the movie before I read the book because I didn't know it was based on a book until afterwards. And I love the movie, and I did find this really, really interesting. I did absolutely love it, but I just feel like the writing is obviously more Wattpaddy because it was originally on Wattpad, I believe. And obviously I've been reading for years, and I've read like a lot more better written stories, so I was basing it off that. But if I had read this when I read after, I would have absolutely loved it. It probably would have been a 5-star read, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, I did like the storyline, obviously. It is very similar to the movie, but there are some different things as well, but I did like that. And I did buddy read this, and it made it more fun, if I'm being completely honest, with it being a buddy read. Then I read Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. So this I rated 4.25 stars. I'm not going to talk about this much like now because there's a whole committed reading vlog to this book, and so you get all of my thoughts, obviously spoiler-free thoughts about this. But yeah, I did really enjoy this, if I'm being completely honest, and this kept being compared to Fourth Wing, and honestly now that I read it, I don't know why. No comparison at all. I just don't get it. Okay, then I read My Roommate is a Vampire, and this I absolutely loved. I did rate it 4.75 stars, I believe. Yes. And this was just such a fun, quick, fast-paced read, so entertaining, and it helped that I love anything vampire-y. So this was definitely for me, and this was definitely a good choice in pick up for my read. So this is about this girl, and she is looking for a place to stay, a new place to stay, and she sees this, like she sees the thing on the on like this website thing, I believe that's how she found it, and she is like, this seems strange, but then she goes to have a look, and she's still thinking, this is strange, but I need this place to stay, and it's really cheap, so she stays there, and then she notices that things are quite strange in this apartment that she where her roommate is a bit different. Yeah, I love this. It was so fun, and I highly recommend. Then I read Assistant to the Villain, and I rated this 2 stars. I don't know what it was. I just didn't connect with this. I would have liked more romance in this book. I felt like it was lacking the romance, and obviously it is marketed as a romance. I just didn't feel like we got much of that, and I think that is what threw me off a bit. Then I read Fangs by Sarah Anderson, and I rated this 2 stars. I honestly thought I was going to enjoy this more than what I did. I feel like I was just a bit more confused about what was going on in the story, like what the gist of it was. I don't know if that was a me problem, but I just didn't connect with it. Then I read Hexapil. I rated this 1.75 stars. At this point, I think I just had enough of like the Halloween reads. If I'm being completely honest, it was for a video, so I don't think me rating it that is fair. But for now, I am going to, maybe next October, I can reread this and maybe give it a fair chance. But I don't know what it was about this, if I'm being completely honest. Then I read All the Bright Places. This I rated 3.5 stars. I did watch the movie beforehand a few years ago, so I don't remember much about it. But this is very heartbreaking. Please check the trigger warnings. I do talk about this a lot in one of my videos that I posted recently where my mom chooses my reads for a week, so I'm not going to talk about much with it here, but I can't really say I enjoyed it, but I liked the writing, I liked the plot, and I feel like it was very educational. It did represent it well. Then I read Love and Saffron. I rated this 3 stars. I really loved this story. It was heartbreaking. The twist at the end was crazy. I did not expect it. You do see my reaction to that in the same vlog as All the Bright Places. I do love the fact as well that you also get recipes. I really want to try the recipes because they just seem like so fun, and I don't know, I just love the fact that it's about food, but you also do get the recipes in this book, as well as like the friendship and the love stories, and it's amazing. And it's definitely very short but very gripping. Then I read Maggie Moves On by Lucy Score. So this I rated 3 stars. I honestly thought I was going to enjoy this more than what I did. I don't know what it was. I felt like it was a bit too long. Like some parts dragged on where I was bored. I didn't really feel a connection between the characters much. I don't know what it was, if I'm being completely honest. But it was still an enjoyable read. Okay, next I read One of Us is Lying. I can't remember what I rated this. I think I did rate it 3 stars because I did really enjoy it. There was a few times where I was bored, so I was like page checking about how far I was along, which obviously isn't a good sign when you're reading a book. It means you're not enjoying it. But I don't know, it was very gripping. I did want to find out. I was disappointed about the end though, if I'm being completely honest. I thought it could have been better. I don't know, something else could have happened. And who I thought it was, it definitely wasn't. And I thought it was 2 people. The first person I thought it was, I was like, no, this is too obvious. It seems like the author's specifically pointing out this person and making it seem like it's this person, and then the other person that I thought it wasn't. Yeah, I just still enjoy it. Okay, next I read the graphic novel of Sheets, which is like a ghost story, and I rated this 2 stars. I don't know, it was a fun like read and very good for like October, like Halloween, you know, but it wasn't gripping. I just feel like more could have been added, something else. I don't know, I felt like something was missing, and there was some things that I felt were unnecessary or just really annoyed me. I don't know. Then I read Wayward, I think that's how you say, and I rated this 1 star, but I'm thinking about removing my rating because I don't feel like I did this book fair or any justice at all, because I was reading it for a video and I just didn't fancy picking it up, but I needed to read it for this video, and so I listened to the audiobook, but most of the time I just blanked out with the audiobook. And if I'm being completely honest, like if you ask me what this is about, I can tell you. I just know it's about 3 women and you following like their different paths, but that's all I know. So I don't know if to just remove my rating. Oh, actually no, I didn't rate it 1 star, I rated it 2, but I don't have to like remove my rating because I just feel like it is unfair that I don't really remember. I didn't really give it a good chance. I don't know. From what I do remember bits of, I did really like the writing style. I love the fact that you did get like 3 different women's point of view and like perspective of things. Yeah, but I don't really remember like what their stories was. I don't remember how it ended, right? Then I read another graphic novel called Ghost, and I did rate this 1 star. I felt like it dragged on. Some of it didn't make sense to me. I don't know if that's a me thing or the writing thing. This passage just wasn't for me. And then lastly, I read Bunny by Mona Awad, and I rated this 2 stars. The ending was crazy. This whole book is just mind-boggling. You are confused the whole time, and I don't know, I just feel like I couldn't connect with it or understand it properly, but I feel like that is the whole point of the story. But I like to connect with my stories. I like to connect with my books. I like to understand what's going on. I don't like to be confused, and it was definitely creepy. I can say that for sure. So those are all the books I have read so far in October. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.